Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our reading class for today, which is on your student book, page 52. In our lesson today, we are going to cover two main objectives. First, you will discuss environmental issues through responding to two related questions on your student book, page 52. Second, you will determine or you will identify if efforts to restore endangered species have been a success or failure through skimming for texts. Alright, let's get started with the title of our module, which is Nature Watch. Nature means or refers to all the plants, animals, and other things in the world that are not made by people but created by God. Let's discuss the first statement. Do not waste water even if you were at a running stream. Can you relate this to hadith that you have heard? Very good. This is a hadith by our Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. And it means that we should conserve water even by a flowing stream. So drinkable water is an extremely valuable resource that shouldn't be squandered or wasted under any circumstances. Our Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, refers to a running stream to draw attention to the fact that water should be used wisely because it's an essential or important life force without which we cannot survive. And don't forget, water is finite by the end. Now let's discuss the first question. Activity A. What do you think are the most important environmental issues our planet is facing today? Environmental issues is composed of two words. Let's check the meaning of each. So, environmental, relating to the natural world or to the environment. It's an adjective. Issues means problems. So we are going to express our opinion regarding the most important environmental problems that our planet is facing. So nowadays our natural environment is suffering more and more. And at the moment there are a lot of environmental problems or issues. Can you think of some? Very good. So there is the major problem, which is global warming, which leads to hurricanes, tornadoes, wildlife extinction. Deforestation also is another problem that, of course, can lead to species extinction. We can also mention the destruction of the ozone layer, acid rain, the greenhouse effect, pollution in the air, and harmful chemicals. Alright, now this is a suggested answer. Can you guess the hidden words? So, which problem do you think we are talking about? I think is one of the biggest, very good, according to the picture, this is global warming, is one of the biggest, very good, it's an issue or problem that our planet is facing. So, they are constantly rising. So because it's global warming, so temperatures are constantly rising, which is causing at the North Pole, this is the North Pole, and the South Pole to melt. What is the thing that melts? Very good, it's ice. So this is in turn creates serious problems for species, for plants and animals. Alright, now let's move on to the second question. Do you think enough is being done to save the environment and animal species that are in danger of dying out? Let's look at some key phrases here. So, enough is being done to save the environment, and the meaning of this, solutions. So, do you think the solutions or conservation initiatives or efforts or restoration plans are enough to save the environment and animal species that are in danger of dying out, and you can say also the endangered species? So the question here is asking us if the solutions that are taken to save the environment are enough or not, and if it is really saving animal species or endangered species. Alright, so if you feel that you are incapable to answer the question about the efforts made to save the environment, I would recommend that you discuss this with one of your family members or try to do your own research. Now, let's share this answer. So, in the past years, mankind has realized the importance of protecting both the environment and endangered species, since environmental problems and animals' extinction have a serious impact or effect on the survival of the human species itself. So many efforts have been made in order to deal with environmental problems and restore the number of endangered species or try to save these species. Nevertheless, or however, there is a lot to be done, which means that they are not enough. Ecosystems are under threat all over the planet, while species go extinct every day. Alright, now quickly read the text on page 52-53. About different environmental issues and circle the appropriate word, success or failure. So you are going to identify if the efforts have succeeded or failed to save the endangered species. Let's get started with the first one. So this is a reading text about the American bison. Alright, now let's read the first question. What was once the population of the American bison in North America? What was once means before. Very good, this is the answer. There were once tens of millions of bison across North America. What was the population of the American bison in North America in the 1890s? So what was the population means how many? Had fallen to as few as 750. Alright, move on to the next question. What were some measures taken in order to help the animals make a remarkable comeback? Which means, what are the solutions taken to help the animals make a remarkable comeback or become more powerful or numerous? Very good, so this is the piece of evidence. The measures are, of course, the conservation initiatives, reintroduction, population management, and the development of the bison meat industry. So do you think the conservation initiatives have been a success or a failure? The key word here is a remarkable comeback. So the animals have made a remarkable comeback, which means that of course, it was a success. Very good. Move on now to the text African penguin. Try to skim the text and answer the following. How many African penguins were there in the early 20th century? Let's try to find the word 20th century here in the text. Here it is, the 20th century. So the answer is, so since the early 20th century, what happened? Back then, which refers to this era, there were close to 2 million African penguins. Alright, move on to the next question. How many were there in the 1950s? Let's try to find, this is the 1950s, so by the late 1950s, approximately 300,000. How about 2009? This is the answer. 50,000 penguins by 2009. So what has happened to the population or to population numbers? What has happened? Alright, so let's read it. Since then, governments and conservationists have worked hard to protect the species, but population numbers have shown no signs of improving. So there were no signs of improving. And what has been observed? Decline. So a 2% annual decline has been observed. So the number declined or dropped or decreased. So what do you think? So the answer is clear. It's a failure. So conservation initiatives failed. All right, now the third environmental issue, the tropical rainforests. Now, in order to answer this question, we have to skim the text. How many square kilometers did tropical forests used to occupy? So, as you know, tropical rainforest climate is not dry. So, there is no dry season in the tropical forest. And the question here is about the land that the tropical forests occupy in the past, because the question here is did use to occupy. So as you can see here, we have two numbers with square kilometer. So you have to read the two sentences to identify the answer for this question. All right, now look at this. In the past, so I guess this is the answer of the question. Tropical rainforests occupy 18 million square kilometers. So this is the answer for the first question. How much of Earth's land and surface do they occupy now? So we are making a comparison between the past and the present. And the answer is, very good, have reduced this to less than 8 million square kilometers. So what do you think? What does satellite data show? Despite increased awareness and conservation efforts, deforestation rates continue to be on the rise. So do you think this is a success or a failure? Very good, it's a failure because it is destroyed, and of course there is a decline or a drop in the number. All right, now let's move on to the fourth text, Arabian oryx, which is the fourth environmental issue. So what is special about the Arabian oryx? Very good, it is Qatar's national animal. And why did they go into dramatic decline? If you can notice here the word dramatic decline, so let's try to find the relevant information. Why did they go into dramatic decline? Because these graceful creatures were overhunted by people, both for sport and for their meat and skin. So how did captive breeding programs help the situation? What's the meaning of captive breeding programs that you can see here? So this is a process to maintain the animals in controlled environments, such as to keep them in wildlife reserves, in zoos, or botanic gardens and other conservation facilities. So how did this help? Captive breeding programs, such as the one developed by Al-Shahaniya Oryx Center near Doha, played an important role in bringing about a significant rise in population numbers. And this is the key word to show that it was a success and not a failure, as there is a rise in their number. Alright, so before we end our class, if you would like to check your understanding to the reading sections, you can use this graphic organizers to organize your information. This is all for today. Thank you so much. Don't forget to do the daily assignment on the Microsoft Teams.